very, very excited about this today. And as Mike's doing the intro here this morning, I'm listening to that and going, man, this is so cool. Everything that we're doing today in the world, from this incredible institute that we invested in, that we're having people do events out of. We've got an event happening now in the building, incredible people, to my family, to the the amount of lives we've transformed all over the world, to producing a book that's been read by tens and tens of thousands of people, all started in the mind. And what I'm excited about today is really about the mental upgrade that all of us are about to go through, the ideas that we're going to pick up, the stuff we're going to share. And my desire for all of you, if you're super excited about this, is to gain even more control over your mind. So when you leave here today, you could think about things, you can analyze things, and you got your mind working with you instead of, like some people say, against us. So how many of you are game on for that? If you are, just say game on. Everybody game on. Type it in the box. Type it in the box. We got a lot of people on here today. So a few things I want to tell you about Zoom. If you're new to Zoom, which means you didn't live through 2020, what I'm going to tell you is we're going to use the chat box today. I'm going to be speaking and presenting, which is great. I'll get a chance to answer a couple of questions from the chat, but with the amount of people on that are sharing, I want to make this very, very, very effective for all of you. And I also want to get you to your day. So I'm going to tell you today is going to be about 60 minutes max. And the reason I'm going to say 60-minute max is I challenged all of you that there are going to be at least 3 techniques, 3 things that you can pick up to upgrade your mind in the next 59 minutes or so. So how many of you are cool with picking up 1, 2, or 3? You pick whichever you want. You want 1, 2, or 3, put it in the box. Let me know what number you want, 1, 2, or 3. I see people want all 3. And the reason I say that is I'm going to give you all 3. But what if it's the one that makes the massive difference for all of us? So what I'm going to tell you is, those of you that are new to our work, the way that everything works here is it's going to be about an hour of material. And this is a great way to learn. I always think back, I really wish in elementary school, or, when we were kids, they would have taught us how our mind works. Like, I went through, I don't know, like 15, 16 years of schooling. And I don't think I ever took a class on how my mind works, how to get my mind to work with me to get what it is that I want. And then when I'm offering it for optional, for free for you guys today, I got a bunch of people jumping out going, hey, give me the class that I never got in school on how to run my mind. So I want you to think of this as, today's class is really the class that you really wish that you would have gotten in school. It's really how to use and control your mind to control the direction of your focus, what affects you, and allow you to get where you want to go as quickly as possible. So as I think of this, because this class was never shared, I figured what a gift that you guys have the option while you're sitting here on Zoom right now to take 3 seconds. I got a few spots open until Zoom completely fills up, and go to your, go very quickly to your Facebook or your Instagram or a text and let people know we're here. Even if you're listening afterwards, you could send them this. This is how we'll access it later. michaelbernoff.com/upgrade. Again, michaelbernoff.com/upgrade. Grab that, share it on your wall, say, I'm here, take a little selfie, go, I'm here. If you tag me, you got a chance to win one of my books or an Average Sucks shirt today. So go post at Michael Bernoff and post that link on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. And we're going to pick a winner later today, give away some books, some shirts, and some sweatshirts and stuff later today with the Average Sucks gear. So this is what we're up to today in the world and what we're excited about. We live in incredible times. I have not done a call on just the mind only since about 2018. I even did the last one, I believe, on a phone, because it was a different world and a different time. And what I've recognized is what's going on today and our need for the ability to impact our minds is more than ever. So I got to ask a question just to make sure that I'm very, very clear here today before I tell you what you're going to get out of this today is, how many of you find that you truly have focus and you have things that you want to achieve? Let me just ask you like this, but from time to time, you get sucked in or get distracted by either your own thoughts or random stuff. How many of you, if you get distracted, give me a D in the box. Anybody got it? Get distracted from time to time? Okay, these are high functioning human beings. And I got to tell you, this isn't just about you, what you're listening to today. This is about you, This is about your family. This is about your kids. This is about your prospects. This is about everybody that you work with. So my desire for the next 56 minutes or so is to do a few very simple things. So while you're listening and while you're watching, and those of you that are new to working with me, I'll tell you a cool thing about the way that I work. I love to tell people how the magic works. I love to break it down for people. I like to stop in the middle and go, hey, see what I just did? You can do that too. So I'm going to tell you that if you're ever presenting to a group of people, or you're ever presenting to your kids, you want them to do something, or you're presenting to a prospect, you want to give people the frame of what to watch. So big win for all of you in advance is you want to lay out the frame. So I'm going to tell you about 3 things that I want you to look for. Now, if you realize what I'm doing is I'm focusing your mind. Now, what's interesting about it is we want to tell people there's 3 things that I'm going to ask you to look for. Now, the reason you want to tell people there's 3 things, I'll explain later. There's a reason behind that. Okay, there's a reason behind saying that to people, but there's about 3 things you want to look for. And it's almost like the highlights magazine when we were kids. When you find it, I want you to circle it and go, I found it, which is great. So number 1 is I'm going to introduce you today to really how your mind truly works. So you've got a better understanding of its options, its capabilities, what it does. Like we're going to slow down all the other stuff in the world, and we're going to go deep inside this thing called your mind. And what's so fascinating about your mind, people say well, somebody says man, I got this feeling inside, I know I want to do more with my life. How many of you have ever said to yourself, I got this feeling inside, I know I should be doing more. I know I can be doing more. I know it's very, very important to me. Give me a yes if that's you. Anybody get a feeling, I know I should be doing more with my life, man. I know I got it. It's in there. I know I got it. I know I got it. Okay, got it. So what's funny about it is when I say people man, I got this feeling inside, I know I'm capable of more. And they start rubbing their belly. They start thinking about it. And I'm like, where's the feeling? They're like, it's right here. I've got it inside. And what's so hilarious is, as a professional, as someone that understands how this thing works, it isn't here. It's here. It's no different than where does the pain in your foot come from? Any great PT knows the pain is not in your foot. The pain is in your mind. The foot has the problem and the mind sends it to the foot. Now, why I'm saying that is, as we're looking to achieve this thing that we want to achieve, that we think is in our belly or in our gut or in our soul, it's inside your mind. So if we're looking in the wrong place, we're always going to miss it. How many of you are getting it? If you are, ding, 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 we need to look in a very, very different place. And the reason is we're looking in our heart, and I love looking in your heart. It's wonderful. But that feeling you're getting in your heart a lot of times is coming from your mind. So number 1 is we're going to really talk about how your mind works, what it is, what it isn't, what its capabilities are, and we're going to play with that. So this is the class you never got. Number 2, I'm going to share with you 3 patterns that I work with the highest functioning human beings in the world. I want to help you install 3 patterns, almost like an upgrade. It is hilarious. Prior to getting on this today, I did this thing. I thought this would be smart. I turned off my Mac, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just turn it off and I'll reset it and I'll have it all set. I've had a lot of programs running. I was running an audio program. I was running a video program. I was running some stuff on my computer. I'll turn it off. I turned it off. I forgot a couple of days ago, I set an upgrade. I had to sit there for 10 minutes, hoping and wishing that the computer would turn on. I got a backup one over there, and my computer was upgrading itself to work a little better, take out some bugs, take out some things. And really what it was doing is it installed a few things that were not there prior. So I'm going to give you 3 main installations that you guys are going to get today. Not only am I going to give them to you, we're going to talk about them. We're going to use them. And here's my belief. If you hear them, you will already be using them. Now, I want to say that one more time. If you hear them or see them, you'll already be using them. Because when you understand how the mind works, when you hear it, when you see it, it's already being used. But the question is, at what level? Meaning somebody says something to you, it gets exciting. That is really great. I love that idea. I hear about residual income the first time. I hear about it. Wow, that's great. You've already it's here, but it hasn't been activated. So the difference is I'm going to teach you what's called an activation strategy today. So when you hear or learn something, you've got the ability to activate it quickly. Now, this excites you. I want to know where we're gonna focus today. So you got to say, sounds good, like it, put it out there, give me a yes, give me a go, let's rock, let's do it, put it in the box, activate, good. And the third thing is really about thinking bigger, because if I could tell you you're thinking bigger, and I'm going to lean towards this towards the end of the training today, is under assault and it's under attack. And I'm not going to get into this till the end of the training, but a lot of us play with AI, and which is wonderful. A lot of us play with Facebook and algorithms, but I'm going to tell you that our bigger thinking is massively under attack by big thinkers that would like us to think the way that they want us to think. So towards the end of today, I wanted to explain to you how to navigate and control your mind in this crazy world that we live in today, where if you don't have ultimate control over how your mind actually works and how to locate and notice when they are doing their thing, how many of you recognize we're going to be in trouble? So how many of you would agree being distracted these days or losing focus is pretty easy? How many of you get that? Am I correct, everyone? Like it's easy. And it's not like it's this thing. And the reason I say that is I'm going to lean that towards the end. Not that that's negative. It's something for you to understand. And like Tara Miller said right there, it's instant. It's instant. So we've got to have the ability to deal with that and control it. So those are some things to look for today as we're getting going. And my big takeaway from all of you is a couple of ideas that impact your mind and upgrade what it is we do. So number one, right off the bat, we've got to accept a couple things. So if you want things to be more effective in your life, we've got to understand a very, very simple paradigm that we're dealing with. So I am going to grab a sheet of paper here right now, and I am going to draw something for you very quickly that all of us can see. Now, I do this in our superhuman community, and I want to do this for you guys right now so you can see it. I am going to draw this. Now, when you look at it, you're like, what is it? You're like, well, Michael, that's a really poorly drawn flag with the wrong direction, and it's got no stars and no stripes. No, it's actually two boxes. Now, these two boxes that you're looking at have a representation. What I mean by a representation is these boxes represent your mind. What I mean by that is how much space is available in your mind. Now, what I'm saying by that, the difference between your mind and a computer is what I'm about to say here in about 3 seconds. These two boxes represent two things. They either represent all that you know or all that you know. What I mean by that is either all that you know is the little box or all that you know is the big box. Then all I need to know is this little thing. I have realized in my life that if I say to myself, I only need to learn a couple of little things to make a difference, my mind slows down. I recognized when I say to myself, if this is the boxes, all I don't know, this one versus this one, it gives you a bigger opportunity to grow. So you've got to decide right now, is it the big box or the little box that you don't know? And if it's the little box that you don't know, like I just need a few little things and I've got it all figured out, you are limiting your ability to make your mind work. And the majority of us, the reason that that occurs is we say to ourselves very simply that there's only a few things I need to know. And if I knew that, then everything's going to make the difference for me. So I'm going to challenge you to think about this right now. Is it the small box or the big box we're working on today? Is it all that you know is I know all of this and I need to know just this, or there's so much we need to learn? When you say, I know there's gazillions of things that I could learn about my life in my mind, it opens up in a big way. When we do this, it opens up our span, it expands our focus, and it lets us see things in a very, very different level. So my desire for you as you're watching this today is to really ask yourselves, like, am I looking at this in an impactful way? So the first part is I want to talk to you about your mind, and I want to talk how your mind works. So a lot of people, when they hear the word mind, they get confused and they say to themselves, oh yeah, my mind. And you mean your brain. But I got to tell you, your mind and your brain, they are not the same thing at all. What I mean by that is your brain is the mushy thing inside, like kind of funny looking, looks like, I don't know what we saw. I never seen the inside of my brain, nor do I even know what it looks like. But the brain is the hardware. What runs the brain is your mind, which is actually the software. Now, your mind has three very simple programs that it runs all day long. And we need to recognize that it can get you anything you want in the world once you're able to articulate and use what I'm about to say. Your mind's number one focus is to keep you and this organism called you alive. That's great. So it's got one main function. That's all it was ever designed to, is to keep you alive. Now, some of you are like, okay, well, can I do a little more than that? There's a difference between being alive and living. What's funny is you can really live real big while you're alive if that actually matters to you. So when upgrading your mind is to understand what it is. What are we dealing with, right? So what happens is when you look at your mind, it's keep you alive. And while it's keeping you alive, it looks for two very, very interesting things. One is it looks for what's called advantages. And what I mean by advantages, things that would benefit you. Now, here's the cool part. You decide what benefits you by the language you use and how often you think about it. Let me say that again. If you think about it a lot, your mind thinks it's important. If you think about it a lot, your mind thinks it's important. So some of you ruminate a lot. Means you don't have the control that you need over your mind. We're going to teach you a strategy and a plan on how to deal with that as well. Number two, your mind also does something is it avoids anything that's mildly uncomfortable. So we will condition ourselves to think things are uncomfortable, and then we don't allow ourselves to attract and grow and get the things that we want. So as you think about this right now, the basic program is this. All your mind is capable of doing is keeping you alive, looking for things that help you and avoid things that hurt you. And that's all it's doing. What we do from there and how we play with it is which side we work on. So I want to work on the advantage side, and I want to help you guys create some additional advantages for what it is you do. So the difference between using your mind to think, which very, very few people do. And the reason I say people have trouble thinking is a lot of people don't know what thinking is. Like, oh yeah, Michael, I read books, I think. No, no, no. You read thoughts. Those are other people's thoughts. You read them. Real thoughts are things you haven't thanked before. And the reason I bring that up is we need to understand what real thinking is. Real thinking is putting things in your mind that were never there before and putting them in there the way that you'd like them to be. So with that said, what I really want to challenge all of you to think about today is what the purpose of the direction is we're doing. So I'm going to give you three words right now that are going to be very, very helpful for you. And when you look at it this way, people are like, well, Michael, can't we just like make my mind work a little better? At my HIT program, we do like hypnotic language patterns and all kinds of stuff to upgrade the mind. But all we're doing deep down with that is some of these basic things that I'm sharing with you in a second. So what I'm going to tell you is our minds work on the direction we give it. So if you've got a piece of paper, I want you all the way to the right to write the word direction. So our minds work in a direction. Now, who creates the direction? It depends who's doing the thinking. So my question for you is, who are we allowing to do the thinking? Is it you, or is it being thought at and you think you're thinking? Oh yeah, I'm doing some research. You're letting someone else do the thinking. I got it. It's cool. We need to understand the difference. So your mind works in a direction. So I want you to like get a piece of paper, write the word direction all the way off to the side. And in order to create the direction that we're going in our lives, we need to recognize that we need to decide the direction that we want to go. And I think back to being in elementary school, and I think back, like I show up in school, didn't really have a direction. I was just told to go there. And if you think about it, I was just dropped off at kindergarten. I believe I probably cried the first day like any of you. I remember the first day of nursery school to be an example, and this played in my mind for a long period of time. I showed up at school, and when I got to school the first day, I had never been there before. And the teacher gave us a very simple direction. Go find the chair with your name on it. I'm Michael. So I'm looking for the chair. I know how to spell my name. That's all I knew how to spell in nursery school. And I look and I go look on the chairs, and most of the kids are sitting, and Lori's sitting, and Marina's sitting, and I'm from New Jersey. So Vinny's sitting, and Anthony's sitting. You know what I'm saying? Vito's sitting. These are my buddies. You know what I'm saying? And Charles is sitting, and I'm a John because I'm a Gen X kid. They're all sitting, and it's like three seats left, and it's almost like musical chairs. And finally, I see all the chairs are taken and I see one other name on a chair, but it's not me. And I start to get this feeling like I don't have a chair. They gave me a direction that I can't follow. I start to get a little uncomfortable. The teacher walks over. She has a direction. So she gives me a hug and she's like, oh, Michael, are you okay? What's your name? I'm like, I'm Michael. I can't find my chair. Maybe I don't have a chair here. Then she's like, maybe we didn't make you one. And then we look at the empty chair and it says Mike on it. They renamed me. They made me Mike. And what's interesting is I think about that for a second. I cried. I was worried. I was uncomfortable after that. I don't know what happened. Like my direction was simple, but because I couldn't follow the direction afterwards, I got a little uncomfortable walking into situations for years. And the reason I think this is most of us were not sat down in school the first day and say, all right, who do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to have? How great do you want to be in school? What do you plan for your grades this year? What kind of student do you want to be? If they would have sat down and said that in elementary school, imagine what that would have done. That is the first class every one of us should have taken. And that's, maybe we didn't take that class, so we're going to take it now. It's what direction are we going? And then we write it down, I'll be a straight A student, and they tell us the benefits of it. Instead of like, find your seat and we tell you who you are. I feel I was absent 2 days in school. The two biggest days in school is I think I was absent the day they taught success. Like I never learned success anywhere. Like they never taught me success, right? And the second day I missed is the day they decided who I was and I bought into it. I'm going to challenge all of you to realize is there's a they out there that decided how your mind works and they decided how you act, what you do, and we all bought into it. I am telling you the majority of the direction that you're taking has not come from you. I don't care how driven you are. I don't care how much you think you want to. We're going to do a recap right now on this and ask you, if today was elementary school with all the skills and all the things and you said, I want this, then we got to go. So the first thing we've got to do is, what is the direction we're looking to go? Number two, okay, very important. How do we decide to get there? Like, what decisions do we need to make it happen? So as soon as you've got a direction, all the way to the other side is the word decide. We need to make a decision on the direction we're headed. And then all of us have got to really grasp this for a second is, are we going to take the director's chair? Now, when I talk about taking the director's chair is every one of us have to realize that our mind is really about being the director. It will direct you wherever it is that you focus your thinking, your feelings, your future will wind up where it is that you want it to be. So you say, Michael, where's the upgrade come in? The upgrade comes in the second you choose that you want to be the director. And the only people I want to talk to for the rest of the Zoom is people that want to direct their life. Well, Michael, don't you have like a better technique than this? Folks, if you're not willing to be the director, this ain't going to work. My daughter's figure skating coach sat down the first day. Where do you want to take this thing? After we got coaching, where are we going with this? Are we going to the Olympics? Are we going to like Disney on Ice? Are we doing this for fun? Where's the direction we're going? We can always change the direction later, but all of our decisions are based on the direction. So here's my question for all of you, and I'm going to see hundreds of these in the box. If you're ready to be the director, just type the word director in the box, and we are going to get into this. I'm going to show you how to direct right now. You right, director? There you go, folks. All right. So here is the purpose of the director. The director decides the direction, the look, the feel, and where we're going. Now, for a lot of you, you're like, well, you don't get it, Michael. I've got my job. I've got my kids. I got my family. I got it. Then you're sharing your director's hat with a bunch of people. I totally get it. You're still the director, but you're pretending that they're in control. I got it. Totally cool. So if you're going to be the director's got this idea. So the director has a question. It says this: which thoughts do you want to have? Because we're not going to be thinking much. We're going to be thoughting a lot. So based on your thoughts that you choose to have, which direction you want to go, because the director is going to be guided by really the director inside of your mind. And I got to tell you, there's two sides of a director, and they're both very, very, very successful that live inside your mind. Director number one is a director that says, whatever thoughts you feed me, I will double. Director number two says, whatever thoughts you feed me, I will give you double. No different than whatever you click on Netflix, you will see again later. How many of you have noticed this? You just randomly leave your dramas. You click on, it's around Halloween time. You click on a violent movie. You click on Saw. You click on it, and then you start getting all these options. And you're wondering when your kid goes, why am I seeing that? Because you clicked on it. I guarantee if you click on it again, you get more of it. Do you know what they modeled all of that AI off of? How your mind actually works. So you're going to either pick the direction you want or the direction you don't want to know. So Michael, this is common sense, but the thing is, you're thinking about it differently. And that's the powerful part that I want to get at today. So what's interesting about this is these two things work like this. Number one is we've got to decide, are we letting the person that creates triumph run our life? What I mean by that is the person that's victorious, the person that succeeds, the person that makes things happen, or the person that really makes things work into the life that we want. So we've got a director that writes films. And he's like, this is a great film. It's action oriented. It's a film it's all about, like, we got to pick the director that we want. Like, is the director somebody that makes films about accomplishment and about success and about going for what they want? Or do we give it to the defeat director, like death, destruction, and like horrible stuff? So we've got to figure out which person runs what it is we do. So how you choose your thoughts and the ones you allow in your mind are the ones that duplicate. Your thoughts get doubled every day. And what's interesting is because your mind wants your life to be easy, if you think about it at least 3 times, your mind will continue to give it to you again and again. No different at the beginning, telling you to focus. This creates the thing that you want. So every day when we get up, we want to upgrade our minds. Here's how you upgrade your mind. You decide, what does it do? Well, we've got to say, it's a director. It's a director. And which director are you giving it to? Are we giving it to the triumph and the success stories? Or are we giving it to like the failing? Are we giving it to the defeat? And we've got to pick which one it is. So if you're giving it to the success one, they work exactly the same way. We've got some patterns that all of us really, really have got to articulate. And I wrote down a couple things that'll be helpful for all of us that are super important to understand. So let me ask you a question. I'm going to tell you that if we choose in our lives to set up appropriately our minds, there's a few patterns that all of us need to initiate inside of ourselves. Pattern number one is a little something that I call the expectation pattern. Now, here's the deal. Our minds are always expecting. Now, the reason is you're going to choose which expectation that you want. So if you're like, Michael, I would love my mind to give me what I want. So here's the deal. Part of the expectation is to really understand those 3 very simple things. That if you have a direction, you need to make decisions that you're going to be the director. Now, here's the cool part. If you're the director, all of these things that are happening, you've got a chance to direct how you want it to be. So my expectation is this, and it's very, very simple. Whenever I walk into a situation, this sets up my mind to always make it easier for me, is setting the expectation to look at this one of 2 ways. This always happens to me. Okay. I can say this happens to me. Like this always occurs. This type of thing occurs. Or you could say, this is part of the plan of where I'm headed and what it is that I'm doing. Now, I'm not telling you this from a positive thinking perspective. What I'm telling you is the word expectations is this. What do we expect to occur? Now, I'm going to challenge you to this. So when somebody says very simply, you know what, I didn't have a good practice today. I really wasn't great on the golf course. I get a lot of professional golfers that come in. I get a lot of people that play sports or UFC fighters or people that do training and do monotonous tasks. Let me ask all of you this. How many of you are in business and for some reason you have monotonous tasks where you got to make cold calls, you got to deal with people, you got to deal with hiring, you can write the word mundane in, write it in the box, put it in, I deal with mundane, I deal with mundane, I deal with mundane, I deal with mundane. And you could say it, I got things over and over again. And from time to time, we say to ourselves, that isn't happening the way I want it to happen. And the reason is your expectations minus actual reality not only make you disappointed with what's going on, what happens is you set yourself up to lose because you didn't install a very important program. So your expectation program, when I call it expectation program, is we've got to realize that that's a big question we got to ask ourselves. I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think about this. If somebody says to you, like, I didn't get a good workout today. Great. So what did you expect? Well, I thought I would wake up this morning. Notice what they said. I thought I'd wake up this morning. So your expectations are attached to your thought. How many of you are getting that? If you are, ding, 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 it has been their entire life. Somebody hits on the golf course. You know, what did you expect today to see happen? If you manage people, you might want to ask them that question. Well, I just didn't get like the results I wanted from that meeting. Great. What did you expect? Well, I thought, got it. Right there is the answer. In your thought was the challenge. Now, if your thoughts duplicate by threes, which means once you get three, the director takes over. Either the triumph one takes over, okay, or the defeat one takes over based on that. So look at who you're giving the plan to based on expectations. I'm going to give you the expectation plan activated here in about 3 seconds. So here's where the plan works. You say to yourself, that is not what I expected today. Great. I thought this. Awesome. What did you think? What was your thought? And they will give you their thoughts. Well, I thought this would happen. I thought this would happen. And then immediately afterwards, they say something like, well, I guess that just doesn't happen for me, or I guess that happens for other people, or that's not my thing. And then the thought heads off. The thought gets handed to the director and he takes it to the movie and recreates movies to give you what you want. Because remember, the main focus of your life is to give you advantages, and the greatest advantage is to give you more of what you think about what you want. So think about this. Your mind says whatever your thought is that you think about more often is the life you get, period. So the expectation pattern. The expectation pattern is connected to the success pattern. So I'm going to tell you a little story here real quick. And it's funny how you could be around this stuff forever and you forget to use it or teach it. I don't know if any of you have done this, like the cobbler's wife doesn't have really nice shoes, they say, or the builder's wife doesn't have a beautiful home or whatever. So it's like whatever we get around, maybe we don't do in our lives. I want you to understand what I'm about to say because this is massive. So years ago, I had a golfer come in here and he says, Michael, my golf game is off. I said to him, what's going on? What's happening? And then I asked him a question. What did you expect it to be? And he turns to me, and think about how powerful that question is for changing the mind of another person. He said, well, I thought by now I'd be doing a little bit better. It's my 15th year on the tour, and I thought I'd be doing better. Got it. Tell me what that thought is. Where did it come from? Well, I got that thought about this year ago and this thing and that and this thing and that. And I said, great. So let me ask you a question. Okay, what does your success pattern look like? Now, here's the deal. In order to succeed, we need to make decisions in our mind. So whenever we make decisions in our mind, we need to realize, what are they tied to? How do they work? How do they serve us to get us to grow? So he said to me, like, well, Michael, I just figured, like, if I've been doing this for years, I should just, show up and be great at it. Like, I should be great on a regular basis. And I told him, I wish it was that way. And it has the ability to be that way, but that's not actually how growth works. So he said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, let me tell you about the 3 types of practice. Well, he goes, I know them. Like, I have bad ones and really great ones. And I said, what are the benefits of the bad ones? He goes, well, the bad ones, they remind me to be better next time. I said, that's definitely an option. That's definitely something you can do. What I'm going to tell you is I want to talk about percentages. Once something is 51-49, which means leans in one direction, that director takes over. So he goes, well, what do you mean by that? I described the whole director thing to him at the time. And I said, I want to tell you what makes somebody incredible on the tour. What makes them amazing? Because I know what makes them great. Perfect practice, perfect performance, perfect play. I said, no. It's the belief in yourself that you're great at what you do. He goes, yes, the perfect practice does that. I said, no. The ability to control your mind is what makes the difference. So here's where the control comes in for all of us. And this is very, very simple that I want all of you to see right now, and it's easy to use. I said, here are the 3 types of practices that all of us need. And here's the 3 types of calls that you need to make, and the 3 ways to run your business that all of us need, and the 3 ways to be a great parent that you need, which at the end gives you the win and gives you everything you want. Number 1 is it goes great. You had a great practice. He goes, I got it. Great practice. Makes sense. Totally got it. Great practice. Okay. I said, what else? You can have this. You can have the ability to have what's called a good practice. Now, here's what I mean by a good practice. What a good practice is different than a great practice. We have to know the difference. If you always do great, you don't know what good looks like. And then he goes, okay, what's the other one? A bad practice? I said, no, you don't need bad practices. It's not good. Then he goes, well, what's the difference between not good and bad? Very different. Your mind takes it to a different place. Not good is different than bad. There is no reason to have a bad practice. Today went awful. Okay. Today didn't go as planned. That is not about positive thinking. So here's what I said to him. I said, if you divide that 33% not good, 33% good, and 33% great, you make the PGA Tour. You might even win the damn thing. I guarantee Tiger Woods would say his practices, not that good, good, great. And if 33% of the time you're great, we get an opportunity to win. You become excellent at what it is that you do. I see Richard posted in the box. So my outcome for you, instead of attempting to be excellent, what if I said your biggest challenge is your reframe? Because what you think, your thoughts today impact you more in the future than right now. So you've got to decide, are we building a foundation? Okay. Or are we looking to always do the things that we do? So one of the patterns we're installing is a success pattern inside of us is we've got to realize that everything is 33, 33, 33. It all comes down to three. Once three things are true, the fourth is automatically true. If we have a great practice, we have a good practice, okay, and we have a not good practice, we've got to be able to chalk those off. We're going to need them on the board. And the reason is they're all part of the movie. Not every element of a movie is exciting. So we've got to be able to impact ourselves to do this. If you're getting it, give me a yes, yes, yes in the box. Everybody got it? It's 333, okay? Not 666, it's 333. And all of us have got to realize the 333 in our lives. So recently my daughter gets off the ice, she's skating. Today was a bad practice. And I'm like, about to have the conversation about a bad practice. And I said, great, you needed that. She goes, what do you mean? I go, we need those. We've got to accumulate those and get them out of the way. Not good is out of the way. You're going to need this week, you're going to have those. So when we start looking at it this way, it begins to change the way our mind works. Like, Michael, that's a better way of looking at it. You know what that does? It helps you think a lot bigger. And the reason I tell you why it helps you think a lot bigger is what it offers all of us is a major, major opportunity. And the opportunity it offers every one of us is it offers us the opportunity to think bigger, because it's impossible to think bigger without a foundation. Our foundational beliefs have to be everything we do is useful. And the reason I say that, well, Michael, what about this? And this is where people go, well, what about like somebody doing heroin? And what about, that's not the conversation I'm having right now. I'm having a different conversation with you. And the conversation we're having is really about a success pattern for you. So when your success pattern is there's good, there's not good, and there's great, you got to realize that everything you do is moving towards the direction that you want to go, and you've got forward momentum into what it is you do. We've got to realize that everything is about effectiveness. How effective can we make our minds to do the things that we want to do to get where we want to go? So I want to really help all of you thinking bigger. Now, thinking bigger, a lot of times you go to an event, and when you go to an event, you're like, I want to think bigger. I want to learn how to think bigger. Michael, will you teach me how to think bigger? I've been thinking small over the years. I got a little lazy with my thinking. I know I want to think bigger. How many of you want to think way bigger, way bigger, way bigger, way bigger? And I like that. Someone said, not great. That's great. Like, give me way bigger in the box, right? There are bigger, 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 bigger. I want to see this if this is something you want me to cover. Now, I'm going to stick with me right now for the next 15, 20 minutes. I may go about 5 minutes over, but I'm going to make it worth your time today. So when we think about thinking bigger, people come to me like, Michael, I want to upgrade my mind and I want to think bigger on what I do. Give me bigger, give me bigger, give me bigger, give me bigger. I'm going to tell you, you have the ability to think unlimited about what it is that you do. Now, my question is, do you want to think bigger, or do you want to get closer to your bigger thoughts? Let me say that again. Do you want to think bigger or get closer to your bigger thoughts? Now, we get really sold a bill of bullshit, and we're taught to think really, really big. And I'm going to tell you, most thinking big is attached to frustration, because we go, I'm going to get a Ferrari. I'm going to get a beach house. I'm going to get this. And you think really, really big. And the gap between where you are and where you want to go is massive. So when you follow the plan that I gave you a minute ago with the 3, 3, and 3, that part makes it easier. But I'll tell you, most big thinking, if I were to find the file in your brain, it's listed to a frustration file. And the reason it's connected to a frustration file, and the reason you've been avoiding it over the years, is you've got a plan that every time you've thought really big, I don't care who you are, it shuts you down. It stops you from doing the thing that you want to do. And instead of realizing that it is just a direction, okay, not the ultimate decision. So as I say this right now, applying this technique, the thinking bigger pattern is not about thinking bigger. It's really about acting differently. So what I mean by that is we're going to have to take some minor different actions if you want to think bigger. Because the way the mind works is, remember the connection I shared earlier between you think that the thing is here, like that, where's that big feeling? It's here, but it's really up here. This needs to know that you mean what you say to change it. So, how, when we start to act differently, our big thoughts start to get connected and they start to really connect to the thing that we want, the thing that we're after, the thing that we're searching for in our lives that allow us to get where we want to go. So, as I give you this example real quick, that's very, very important for all of us to articulate and understand is thinking bigger is if you've got something you want to think about, let's say make $1 million, make $100 million, 9-figure company, 80-figure company, jet plane, car, beautiful family, 12-pack abs, whatever. I want you to have that. And then you've got to say, that is not a thought, that is a direction. Because I've never actually had that in my life. I have no experience with that. So, what I need to do is I've got to understand how to get myself to think bigger takes a very, very different discussion. And the discussion that we've got to ask ourselves is what decisions do we need to make? And we've got to ask, what does it actually look like to do what it is that we want? And what are the next steps towards making that a reality? During our call to action program, I always tell everybody, it's really about the little action that makes the difference. Two things change our lives dramatically and change our minds. Number one is our actions. When we act differently, our mind starts to immediately make us be different. When we start going to the gym, we start doing stuff, we do different. But what really transforms our lives is our perception. And what our perception about thinking bigger is very, very important. So instead of saying, I'm going to go get that or I'm going to do that, where your mind has unlimited files of how that has never, ever worked prior in your life. Okay, I'm going to challenge you to think about this a little bit differently. And the way that I'm going to challenge you to think about this right now is to really frame that correctly for yourself. So when you say to yourself, this is the thing that I want, and I'm beginning to think bigger, you've got to say to yourself, I have not done that exact thing yet. Okay. And this is kindergarten again. And you've got to say, that is the direction that I'm going. Now, when you stop saying that's what I want or that's my dream, when you say that is the direction I'm going, your mind will automatically say to you, great, what decisions do you need to make? Well, I need to make the decisions, okay, that are different right now. And the decisions that all of us need to start making is to take back the biggest power that all of us need, that really how our minds truly work. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and yes, Stacy, it is gold, and I want you to listen right now. Whenever you're like, that's my dream, that's actually my direction. Okay, my direction is to be a straight A student. Here's the decisions I need to make. Here's what I'm willing to do. Here's my next steps. I am going to tell you that we need to learn how to make steps in the right directions of the things we want, which means we need to take back a couple of things. Now, I'm going to tell you this because it's very, very important. Most of us think that this whole idea of our thinking big and our future and these big goals is the big thing we need to be after. I'm going to tell you, you've been sold a bunch of BS. You're going to need that, but that's not the part we need to be good at. The part we need to really get great at is the real part of the equation. There are three very, very simple things that are for sale every day of the week. To you, selling them to yourself, selling them to the people you care about, selling on the open market about you and your focus. I'm going to challenge all of you to understand this. Your focus is for sale every single day of the week. These devices, the billboards on the side, the movies, the things you watch, your focus is really for sale for a simple reason. Not that they want your focus, that big corporations and big companies understand that focus is attached to feeling. Now, I want to tell you what I mean by that. And I'm going to ask you to pay very close attention because I'm going to give you very advanced mind upgrade control right now. Your focus is attached to a feeling. What you focus on will give you a feeling. And what you focus on gives you a feeling. And depending what feeling you attach to that focus is whether you have the thought that you need to create the thing that you're looking for inside of your life. So I'll give you an example of this for a second to serve all of you is if I ask you to focus on one of your dreams, something you want, like something you want to achieve or having $100,000. Okay, I'm going to focus on $100,000. Not only is it hard to focus on because maybe you've never had it or focus on $1 billion. I never had it before. It gives you a feeling uncomfortable, nervous, exciting. Okay. But I'll tell you, it isn't giving you the thing called comfortable and normal. Now I'm going to ask you a question. If $1 million or $1 billion was comfortable and normal, and if that was the way your mind triggered off, it would be more natural to do. This is why families of people that grow up with professional athletes in the family, the kids are more likely to be a professional athlete because it's normal and it's comfortable. So what I'm saying is we need to recognize that everything is comfortable and normal. So we've got to, whatever we focus on, we've got to condition it to become something that is comfortable and normal that allows us to get what we want. Your future becomes natural and easy, the direction you want, when it becomes comfortable and normal. So if we were to go back to kindergarten and we were to imagine that we didn't know that today was going to happen. We didn't know the future you was going to occur. We had no idea you were going to go into business. We had no idea whether you're going to be a mom or dad. We had no idea whether you're going to be uncle and aunt. You never did the shit you were going to go through, the problems you were going to have, and all that stuff was going to happen. And we said the simple condition to you is said, how do you want the year to end? And they said, great. So we need to make that comfortable and normal. And we need to talk about that in a very, very different way. Like, I've got your back and we're going to do this together. What it's going to take is not about understanding the mind. It's going to take about controlling the mind to give you the thing that we're looking for, that all of us need to get great at. And part of what we need to get great at is this very, very basic idea is we need to realize how to focus this thing to get us what we want. So Michael, I'm not like understanding, like, what do you mean by focus? Well, here's the focus is very, very simple. We've got to change what our focus is. We've got to make the thing that you want comfortable and normal. And what I mean by that is comfortable and normal is the shows we watch. These shows you watch on TV, the things that you do, the majority of it is designed to make it easy, to be comfortable, to be something that you deal with on a regular basis. And this is what I've recognized most people are dealing with in their lives. So when I say what we're up against and what we're dealing with in the world right now, we've got a plethora of distractions that are happening. I had to give you guys a shout out right now for being here as long as you are being here. How many of you are learning a lot right now? If you are, give me a thumbs up. Like, I picked up at least one thing that I'm going to use in my life. How many of you are getting this? If you are, anybody raise them up? Good. I see a lot of stuff going off. That's fantastic. I love it. Bunches and greats. Okay. So as we do this right now, the importance of this today is really about plugging in. See, our minds are the greatest computers ever developed, but very few people have taken the time to understand it. And in 2018, I recognized something that most of us just go with whatever happens. We go with whatever our mind does. You get up in your day, you do what you do. And you give me like a yes if this is you. Like, you get up in the morning, you got the greatest intentions, you fired up, you cold plunge, you don't cold plunge, I do what I do. I get up, I just kind of hopeful thinking. And most of you, your game plan is, I hope this shit works, right? And what's fascinating is a lot of us don't recognize that the thing that we're up against, and when I say up against, is there is a group of people that are not interested in understanding how the mind works. They're interested in how control works. Now, why I'm saying that is in 2018, I realized that the majority of the people in the world need like to upgrade their minds. They need to understand how to control their thoughts, their feelings, their actions, because they ruminate on a regular basis. How many of you have someone in your life that you know that ruminates over and over and over again? Maybe it's you or a child, thought over and 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 over again. And or like we have a habit we can't stop and we try to fight the habit. We try to fight it because we want to figure like, why are we doing it? The answer of why you're doing what you do is irrelevant, because if you knew why you did it, still doesn't solve the problem. What we need to figure out is not how the mind works. So I originally created something that's fascinating. why the mind works, how to change your language, impact your feelings, impact your thoughts, impact your future, impact your focus. And it was massive. Like our Mind Control 2.0, which upgraded people, was like so freaking cool. And I had so many people have used it. They've loved it. It was great. We even did it on the phone because that's what we did things back then. It was super powerful. And it's like, it got a whole group of people to change the direction of what they did. Fast forward 6, 7 years later, we live in a very, very different world today. And we were sitting down figuring how we can help everybody as much as possible, what kind of thing we can put through. Because I look at our lives a lot like an experiment. How many of you would agree, like every day we experiment? Am I correct, everybody? Would you guys agree it's an experiment? It's an experiment. Like this worked, this didn't. This happened, this didn't happen. This worked, this didn't. So we're going through the experiment of this call. And I like to look at things like an experiment because an experiment is even more fun than an adventure because we can add shit, we can move stuff. An adventure is like, I want to say childish, but I think it's an experiment. Like it's like we're gonna have a fun experiment right now, and it allows you to change and to move stuff around. So we're sitting here in my office the other day, and Tara, my daughter, said this. She goes, "We've been focused on the wrong thing." She goes, "We've been focused on the mind part of mind control, where the biggest corporations and companies, they've been focused on the control part, which is how do we actually control the mind?" So what major corporations and everything out there are doing at this moment is they are mastering and they are understanding the art of how do I control this human being or this group of human beings' focus. And when their focus changes, while I got them looking over here, how do we inject the feelings we want? So over here a little bit later, like a big marketing experiment, they'll buy this, they'll do this, they'll think this. And if you think I'm joking, it's been going on for years. But the level of tech, the level of sophistication, the level of ease that they have right now is an unfair advantage. And the reason I say it's an unfair advantage is because they know things you don't know. And what's interesting about this is that we've got to figure out how do we do that ourselves? How do we actually take that control in our lives to do the things that we want? So I said, first up is we've got to find a group of people that truly want to upgrade their thinking. And part of upgrading your thinking is taking the idea, like people will do an entire coaching session with me. They'll spend $5,000 to do an entire coaching session with me for an hour to 90 minutes. And we will get one little idea. They'll walk out of here a golfer, go, got it, I'm going to redo it. And they just decide to use it because they chose to be the director. So I need people that want to direct and they were willing to upgrade what it is that they do. And once they're willing to upgrade, we've got to experiment with this idea of, are we willing to feel comfortable with the control that we have? And I recognize for a lot of us, like the control mechanism is, I think of like a remote control on a TV. Okay. And what's interesting is this, is that we've got this like control in our hands, like a remote control. It's 10,000 times more powerful. Okay. Than our mind. Our mind is 10,000 times more powerful, but it's right in front of us what it is. It's got pause, it's got on off, it's got fast forward. But this is the model that they're using, how to fast forward our thoughts, how to get ourselves to do what we want, how to get the things that we want to get where we want to go. So this is not about they're doing something bad. It's they're actually using something we should have been using all along that most of us missed because we never took the time to realize how to control our minds to get our feelings, our focus, and our future in order. So we just allow our future to be in the hands of anybody who controls our focus and our feelings. So my job is I want to give that back to all of us. So I got to ask all of you this. How many of you would love a lot more control than you currently have? Give me the word control in the box. Just give me control. A lot of us are uncomfortable with the word. Like, I don't want to be controlled. You're being controlled. You control yourself all the time. Like, what do you not want control? Who are you going to give control to? God or whatever you believe in is probably saying, I've given you the control. Are you willing to use it? And that's what a lot of us miss. We're not willing to use this subtle control. So originally I thought your mind came with an unlimited supercomputer. 2018, I gave you Mind Control 2.0. 2024, the world shifted a little bit differently. I figured, hey, for those that really, really, really want to experiment with this, and really want to get great with this, this is something that I got to tell you that we've got that is very, very important. and invented something. And I put down an entire thing. For the last year, I've been working on something, over a year, with my personal coaching clients. They've been getting experimented with. They've been getting worked with. I've been having this little notepad that I make at my events that I do. And I go, this is perfect. This is what everybody needs. We need to truly not just upgrade our minds, we need to upgrade how much control that we take to get the things that we're looking for. So what I did is I created something called Mind Control 3.0 or Mind Control 3. Biggest reason I use 3 is we got to remember the 3, the 1, 2, 3. And the way it works is simple. It's you and I working together, and it's going to be open and ready on a Zoom. And I'm excited about this. And let me tell you, if you think this is pretty cool, you and I working together on the 3 areas of your life that are most important: your focus, how to truly use what I call the focus filter, how to get obsessive focus when it is that you need it, and turn off the focus you don't need when you don't need it. How many of you would like complete control of your focus with a strategy that I call the focus filter, which I give to golfers, UFC fighters? I'm going to hand to you. How many of you are game on? If you want it, give me a hell yeah or heaven yeah, and we're all in. Okay. Number 2, I wanted to give you something called the bounce back. And what the bounce back is the opportunity for you to bounce back to where you want. We all have a spot that we love in a movie that gets us excited, the Rocky moment. Dude, everybody just needs a bounce back. It's not an ant moment like a core. It's the bounce back technique. I want to give you guys that as well. I also recognize that we need really a lot of power to block out these things that we're dealing with in our lives. Because how many of you would love to get a kick out of this? How many of you think this is pretty fun? To notice what they're doing, spot it in 2 seconds, and go, they're doing it again. And I see them, they're doing it. I got it. They're messing with me, and turn it off. How many of you realize if we could windshield wiper the thing that they're doing and learn how to have more control? We're on this because we want to be, not because we're addicted to it. And I'm not saying, well, Michael, I'm not addicted anyways. Dude, how many of you would like to take your screen time down and use it the way you want and be more focused, write some shit down? How many of you would love this? If you want that, say, I want that. I want that for you. So here is as simple as this is. This is not for everybody. This is for a select group of you that really want mind control, not learning about the mind. I'm talking 30, 40 techniques on how to use and control your mind to get you the things that you're looking for in your life. I'm going to be open to questions. It's going to be a group coaching session. It's going to be live. And the best part about it is you're going to get to keep it for the rest of your life and watch it over and over again. And there's going to be so many little techniques that you're going to retrofit that allow you to get the things you want. So I put together a website. It's mindcontrol3.com. There it is, mindcontrol3.com. I was debating what to charge for this. I'm not a cheap date. So I figured, hey, the investment's simple, $400, $399. $399. I was going to do $600. It will be $600 in 2 weeks. And we're going to be doing this in a couple of weeks on a Zoom live. If you can make it live, great. If you can't, it doesn't matter whether you're live or not. You can shoot in your questions and I will answer them even if you can't make it. It's mindcontrol3.com. And when you go there, you can watch the video on top. You don't need to. I'd encourage you to be one of the first 100 people to enroll. And the reason is, one of the first 100 people to enroll, not only are you going to be able to get your questions answered in advance, you're going to guarantee to be on the live session, which I'm excited about. And on top of that, I've got a couple of huge things that I'm going to give you, and tell me if this excites you. So it's $399, the price of a couple tanks of gas in your car. You're going to learn how to truly control your mind, and tell me if you think this is pretty cool. I got a couple big bonuses I'm going to give you. These should be worth at least 10,000 bucks each. And you tell me if you're excited about either of these. Number 1 is, we named it fun way. We're talking to Shy about this. The 7 deadly controls. It's not like the 7 deadly sins. How many of you realize the death of your future is letting people control you? How many of you understand that? It's the thing, letting them control you. So the 7 deadly controls are for you to spot and locate the 7 controls that are being used around you all the time, and how to retrofit them to use them with your clients. And it is an excellent price. Okay. It's embarrassing. $399, $400 to control your mind. Folks, you pay about $250,000 on a college education. Duh. Okay. So what we've got to do is, the coolest part is when they out there, okay, when they out there are sharing these, you're going to be able to have a pad and paper, go, I see what they're doing. And this technique is going to teach you the 7 that they're doing so you can do them as well in your marketing, in your sales, with your kids, and use them in a positive, incredible manner. Beating people up and giving them a hard time because they're mean, they're bad, that's childish. That's silly. It's not about a tinfoil hat, they're bad. dude, you're just jealous because they're using stuff that you could be using too, and you could be using it for good. How many of you would love these techniques and use them for good? Anybody got it? Mindcontrol3.com. Go there now, save 200 bucks. That's bonus number one. How many of you love that bonus? If you do, say I do. You guys love that bonus? You guys love it? Yes, makes sense? Okay, people are screaming, I love it. Number two, okay, we're going to give you what's called R3, and I'm going to tell you what R3 is. Okay, R3 is how to rest, rise, and repeat. Here's something I've been teaching for years. Tell me if this is pretty cool. How to go to bed calmly at night with your mind to calm down your thoughts. And on top of that, how to very, 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 very simply wake up with tons of energy and repeat it regularly. This is a thought pattern that you're going to learn before bed. It's a hypnotic pattern that all of you are going to be given. I'm going to record it for you and you get to use it over and over again. For hypnotic sessions, I usually charge $1,000 for 15 minutes. This is going to be a 30-minute session that I'm going to give you that you guys are going to be able to listen and use over and over and over again. Absolutely free once you enroll. So here's the deal. Mindcontrol3.com. We're going to be running the class in about 2 weeks. I'm just telling you right now, you'll get the date. If you can make it live, great. If you can't, it doesn't matter. You're going to get it for the rest of your life. And the third bonus of mindcontrol3.com, which is Mind Control 3.0, is you're going to get access to a lifetime of this. So the program is going to be about 3.5 hours. 3. Got it? Okay, 3 hours and 33 minutes. Okay, originally. Then you're going to get the bonus of the 33-minute. Okay, you're going to get the bonus of the 33 minutes of R3, and you're going to get the 7 deadly controls. All of that with permanent access. So I don't need your money, folks. I could have easily just marketed this to 2 of my coaching clients. I would have said $50,000 of done. And if you've done it and you decided to enroll, give me a done in the box. Let's do this. Let's rock. You're smart enough to do it. If you're brand new to working with me, this is a steal. And I'm excited to share this with you. I'm very, very excited about watching all of you grow and get the things that you want in your life. And I'm going to tell you, if $400 is a problem and you're like, well, Michael, I don't know if it's worth it or not. Dude, how important is your mind? One good thought, one good idea is going to make you millions and millions of dollars. That book you want to get done, this is the gateway to do it. That thing you want to sign up for that you want to see happen, this will get you to do it. Those stocks you want to get better, this is going to help you do it. I use these same techniques with my children for years. I helped Tara when she was doing her cheer, how to get over some of the challenges, boom, to be able to do flips. You don't even need to do a flip. Maya to be able to land things on skating, okay? So I'm going to challenge all of you to really make a decision. It's a no-brainer. And I'm telling you, we went back and forth and I'm like, let's do $1,000. And then we're like, no, let's do $399. And the reason we're doing $399 is simple. This is just for today. For those of you watching this right now, if you got someone in your team that you want to share it with, you can give them as well. Mindcontrol3.com. It is for today only. The bonuses are for today only. For the first 100 of you, you're going to get a special email afterwards that's going to say, give me your special thing you want Michael to cover, and we are going to do our best to cover it as long as it's relevant to the topic. So if you guys like that, be one of the first people to the site. I'm excited about it. If you can't get to the web, I can't figure out why, because you're on Zoom right now, you can always give us a call at 866-241-5111. Our team will take care of you. 866-241-5111. If you are all in, give me the thing. I'm in. Let's grow and let's grow together. How many of you enjoyed today? If you did, say I did. You did, say I did. And if you're in for mind control, type the word mind control down. Mind control. Folks, 2.0 was amazing. 2.0 was incredible. And I'm just going to throw this over the line for anybody watching right now. And I'm going to break all of my rules. Okay. All of my rules are about to get broken for everyone who enrolls right now. You better go do it, because you better do it. You better go all in and do it. If you are brand new to us and you do not have this already, if you are all in, I'm just go enroll, go do it. I'm going to tell you, you're going to want to go mindcontrol3.com, mindcontrol3.com. Decide to do this. Go do it now. Those of you that are new that don't have this already, after you do Mind Control 3, you're going to get Mind Control 2, which is another program, same price, absolutely free. I'm going to throw it in and you are going to have it included. Someone just said it. If you enroll now, you are watching this video, you're going to get Mind Control 2.0 as a bonus. I didn't mean to say it. My team is going to kill me afterwards, but you are not going to see that bonus until after 3 is over, because I don't want to overload you with it. And I want you to get 3 first. So 3 biggest things, mindcontrol3.com. go ahead and make the decision right now. Go to the website, click the little form, enroll. Bonuses, you're going to get those over the next couple of weeks. Super excited about that. Here is the coolest part about this. What I'm excited about is what we're going to create together and what it is we're going to do. So if you're excited about it, give me a woohoo. Let's go. Let's go. I got to run and go use my techniques. Maya's got a competition. We're off to go use these techniques out in the real world. Let's control our minds. Let's do it together. You guys are absolutely amazing. And if you're on the fence, get off the fence, man. That shit's rusty. Make the decision. And on the second page, it's going to say, if you've never done call to action before, I got a ridiculous discount for that. Click that if you want it. There's a couple little bonuses, things that you can get if you want. It's completely up to you. Make it happen. So thank you, everybody. If you enjoyed this today, appreciate you. Give me a like a thumbs up already. And mindcontrol3.com. Let's rock. Look for an email. Excited to work with you. This is an experiment that we're going to make some massive stuff happen. Have a great day, everyone. Let's work on it. My gift to you is our time that we're going to work together and make this happen. Mindcontrol3.com. It is official. It's about to happen. Get enrolled. Let's rock and roll. You got a few minutes. Get the bonuses. Be one of those first 100 people. There were 500 people watching this overall. So you got to be one of those first 100. You got to move quickly. All right, guys. Lots of love. Talk soon. Let's see a little screen view so we can see everybody, and we'll catch all of you guys later.